welcome to Di's Home and Garden. I'm Di. If this is the first time you've been here, welcome, thank you for joining us. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. You must have enjoyed the videos, so that's a good sign. Now, as I said, it's Di's Home and Garden, so what you'll find here is my home and garden. So in the garden I do have a big vegetable garden. I also have lots of flowers and trees. So we're often out there working in the garden or harvesting something. In the home, sometimes I'm doing crafts and other times I'm cooking. So as you can see today I'm in the kitchen and we're cooking. Now I've been doing a few recipes which are Maltese recipes, and I have to put out this disclaimer. I'm not Maltese, I'm an Aussie of English heritage. So when I make Maltese food, it's an Aussie's version of Maltese food. So all you purists out there, all you Maltese who say, that's not the way it's done. Well, maybe it's not, but I have picked up by observing and I wasn't really taught. And so these are the recipes how I've come to know them and make them. And my kids don't complain, so they must be all right. So anyway, today we are making puddina. Now I know that traditionally it's made with Vienna bread. I've never even seen Vienna bread in the shops here. I suppose I'd have to go to a continental deli, but no, I'm not making it with Vienna bread. And it's not stale either. We normally use stale bread. I've picked up some fresh bread, so I'll go through the ingredients and you can have a look at what we're going to be using in this recipe. So we're starting off with the bread. Now this is just a 650 gram white sandwich loaf. You can use other types of bread. You could use a toast loaf. You could, if you wanted a little bit more healthy, perhaps you might like to use wholemeal or whole grain. But this is what I've traditionally used. As I did say, Vienna is the traditional loaf to use in this. So bread is the first one. Next we've got some eggs that are beaten, and there's 4 eggs there, 100 grams of margarine, half a cup of sugar, Now it says 1 packet of cherries, but if you've watched my videos previously, I've got some more there. They were left over from when I made the coconut macaroons. So I will be adding them into the recipe because otherwise they're going to sit in the fridge, then they may go to waste. So this will have a few extra cherries. I'm sure nobody will complain. But there we have some cocoa powder, and in there's 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 cups of sultanas, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. Now I'm just having a look to see how much that can weigh. So 397 grams in there. We have an orange and a lemon. We're going to be using the zest and the juice. And the next thing we have is water. I've got a large bowl of water, and you'll see in a moment what we need that for. So as I said earlier, the recipe is generally to use up all the stale bread. And to revitalise the bread when it's stale, we're going to do the same thing even though this is a fresh loaf. We put it into the water. Actually, this isn't that fresh. I did buy it 3 days ago, so I can feel that it's a little bit stale. So we put it into the water. And that's just ordinary warm water out the tap. Okay, and then we squeeze it. So we need to squeeze each piece out, just like we're squeezing out a sponge. And there you have it, all the bread's done. Just move that out the way, and then we'll just start to add the other ingredients. So we'll add our sultanas, our cocoa. We just put everything in the bowl together. No need to mix it until we've added everything. We've got our sugar, our margarine, cherries, eggs, our sweetened condensed milk, and we need the zest of both the lemon and the orange. So we'll get the zest off that. If you don't have one of these zesters, you can just use a box grater or a microplane, and you can just zest it that way. That's it with the orange. And I did scrub these very well before I'm zesting them. These are organically grown. The lemon is from my daughter's tree, and the orange is from a friend's tree, so I know that they haven't been sprayed with anything. I'm very particular about that because I don't want to be using the zest of anything that's possibly had spray on it, or if I just don't know. So there we go. Once we've zested them, then we can juice them. Now when you're adding the juice, just make sure that you don't get any of the seeds in there. So this juicer that I'm using here strains out the pulp and any seeds that might be there. And I'll go into my compost. And we just add the juice in there. Now, the next thing is we just need to mix it. So there's no easy way to do this except use your hands. So I'll just put my sleeves up because I don't want them getting in there. Get them out the way. And we just have to get our hands in there and mix it thoroughly. Now, because we're using white bread and then we're using cocoa, what can sometimes happen if you don't mix this, as you cut through it, you will find white spots in it. And it actually looks awful. It looks like there's something wrong with your puddina. So you need to mix it thoroughly so that all that bread turns the chocolatey colour. So I'm just squishing it through my hands, breaking up all the bread. Because the crusts have been into the water, they're all soft and you don't end up with any hard bits. But if you just keep turning it, you'll see whether you've mixed it enough or not, if you've mixed it enough or not, because you'll see, just like that, there's some white bits. So if you see any white bits, haven't mixed it enough, and keep going. That looks like it's done. Nope, a little bit over there. There we go. I'll just wash my hands and then I'll be back. Now I'm going to be giving this to one each to my kids. So I'm going to be putting it in foil trays, and that way they don't have to return any cooking pans or anything. I think when you put it into a Pyrex dish, it just cooks it nicer, more evenly. But this is what we're doing today. So just smooth them down on the top so they're nice and even. Just a little bit left in there. And that's it. Now I just need to bake them in the oven. So we'll just pop them into the oven. That's a 160-degree fan forced oven. I'll cook them for about 45 minutes to an hour until they feel like they're set, and then I turn the oven off and I leave them in the oven in the heat for them to set completely.